wedding ceremony turned funeral, a love shattered, a life unraveled. The world swam before Emma, distorted by a torrent of tears that stung her eyes and burned her throat. These were no joyful tears, no shimmering reflections of bridal bliss. They were molten grief, scorching her from the inside out, each drop a shard of a heart pulverized beyond repair. Around her, the remnants of a celebration now felt like cruel taunts. Half-empty champagne flutes clung precariously to overturned tables, slices of uneaten wedding cake lay abandoned, and crumpled napkins still bore the ghostly imprints of laughter, all silent, mocking witnesses to a happiness brutally snatched away. Only hours ago, this sun-drenched meadow had pulsed with the vibrant energy of love and dreams. Now, it was suffocatingly gray, a desolate echo chamber mirroring the barren wasteland that had become her soul. With trembling fingers, Emma traced the chiseled letters of Liam's name on the cold, unforgiving granite of his headstone. Liam. The mere sound of it used to conjure images of sun-drenched afternoons, shared jokes, and a love so boundless it rivaled the sky above. Now, it reverberated in the hollow chambers of her heart like a mournful dirge, each syllable a fresh wave of agony. She remembered their first encounter, a serendipitous collision in a crowded city cafe. He'd blundered into her, sending a cascade of scalding coffee down the pristine white of her blouse. Mortified, he'd stammered a string of apologies, his cheeks blooming with crimson embarrassment. Emma, instantly disarmed by his awkward charm and captivated by the genuine warmth in his kind, hazel eyes, had laughed it off, a melodious sound that had instantly captivated him. That accidental spill became the catalyst for a whirlwind romance, a love story that felt divinely ordained, a love that promised an eternity of happiness. She squeezed her eyes shut, the vivid memory of their first date flooding her senses, sharp and poignant. The cozy Italian restaurant, thick with the comforting aroma of garlic and oregano, the electric current of nervous excitement that crackled between them, almost palpable. Liam had been adorably flustered, his hands visibly trembling as he reached across the candlelit table to tentatively take hers. He'd confessed his burning ambition to become a writer, his voice laced with passion as he spoke of crafting stories that resonated deep within the human heart. Emma, a budding artist herself, had been instantly drawn to his sensitive soul and his unwavering faith in the power of words to heal and connect. Countless nights had been spent sharing their innermost thoughts, their wildest dreams, their deepest fears. They had weathered life's inevitable storms together, steadfastly supporting each other through family crises, crushing career setbacks, and the everyday challenges that threatened to erode their spirit. Their love had been a beacon, a constant source of strength, a warm refuge in a world that often felt brutally chaotic and unforgiving. They had painstakingly built a shared universe, brimming with whispered secrets, joyous laughter that echoed through their small apartment, and the unwavering promise of a future inextricably intertwined. Now, that meticulously crafted future lay in shattered ruins, crushed beneath the unforgiving weight of a toppled oak tree. A monstrous twist of fate that had ripped Liam from her grasp and plunged her into an unfathomable abyss of despair. The wedding she had poured her heart and soul into planning for months, the breathtaking dress she had chosen with such meticulous care, the vows they had painstakingly written together, each word etched with profound emotion, all now served as cruel, agonizing reminders of a happiness forever beyond her reach. Emma forced her eyes open, the endless tears blurring her vision, making the world appear as a watercolor painting gone wrong. The meadow, once a sanctuary of their blossoming love, now felt like a desolate graveyard of shattered dreams and broken promises. The gentle breeze that had whispered through the trees during their vows now felt like a cold, accusing hand caressing her skin, sending shivers of despair down her spine. Everywhere she looked, she saw the ghostly echoes of what should have been, their first clumsy dance as husband and wife, the shared laughter as they smeared cake on each other's faces, the joyous, heartfelt cheers of their closest friends and family. She reached out, her fingers numb with cold, and brushed against the unyielding, granite surface of Liam's grave, tracing the deeply etched inscription, Liam Walker, beloved husband, son, and friend. The words felt utterly inadequate, a pathetic attempt to encapsulate the essence of the man she had loved with every fiber of her being, the man whose sudden absence had torn a gaping, irreparable hole in the very fabric of her existence. How could a few paltry words carved in stone possibly capture a lifetime of shared moments, a love story that transcended the ordinary, a future that had been so brutally stolen in the blink of an eye? The wedding reception was in full, jubilant swing. Exuberant laughter bounced through the air, mingling with the delicate clinking of crystal champagne glasses and the lively, infectious rhythm of the band. Fairy lights, strung artfully between the ancient trees, cast a magical, ethereal glow over the scene, painting the faces of the guests with warmth and joy. Emma and Liam, their hands clasped tightly together, moved through the delighted throng, greeting their cherished guests, their faces radiating pure, unadulterated happiness. Emma's heart swelled with an overwhelming sense of joy as she watched Liam effortlessly charm their friends and family. He possessed an innate ability to make everyone feel genuinely seen, valued, and deeply loved. His easygoing charm and unwavering, genuine warmth drew people to him like moths to a flickering flame. She had never felt such profound pride as she watched him, radiating happiness, and called him her husband. As the evening deepened, the sky transformed into a masterpiece of color, the vibrant hues of the setting sun slowly surrendering to the deep indigo embrace of twilight. A gentle, playful breeze rustled through the leaves of the majestic oak tree that stood sentinel beside the reception area, its ancient branches reaching towards the heavens like gnarled, beckoning fingers. Emma had always felt an inexplicable connection to that ancient tree. It had been a silent, steadfast witness to countless intimate picnics, lazy afternoons spent lost in the pages of a book beneath its protective shade, and countless whispered promises of forever that now echoed with heartbreaking irony. The DJ, with a flourish, announced their first dance as husband and wife. Liam, his eyes sparkling with a depth of love that stole Emma's breath away, gently took her hand in his. As they swayed to the melody of their chosen song, a hauntingly beautiful ballad that spoke of eternal devotion, the world around them seemed to dissolve into a hazy, insignificant blur. In that sacred moment, nothing else mattered, nothing else existed, but the two of them, their love a palpable, tangible force that filled the air, a shield against the harsh realities of the world. As the music faded to a gentle close, a sudden, violent gust of wind ripped through the meadow, momentarily plunging the reception into near darkness as it extinguished a cluster of fairy lights. A collective gasp of unease rippled through the captivated crowd. The ancient oak tree groaned ominously, its massive branches swaying wildly in the increasingly ferocious wind. An unnerving silence descended upon the reception, the joyful atmosphere replaced by a palpable sense of foreboding. Then, the unthinkable, the impossible, happened. A sharp, ear-splitting cracking sound tore through the air, followed by a deafening roar that seemed to shake the very ground beneath their feet. The ancient oak tree, its core weakened by the relentless passage of time and ravaged by the sudden, unexpected storm, split asunder, its immense trunk plummeting towards the earth with terrifying speed and unstoppable force. Chaos erupted, a maelstrom of terror and confusion. Piercing screams filled the air as guests panicked, scattering in a desperate attempt to escape the path of destruction. Emma watched in abject horror, her heart pounding against her ribs with a frantic, desperate rhythm as the monstrous tree crashed down, its thick, unforgiving branches crushing everything in its path with merciless finality. Time seemed to warp, to stretch and slow to an agonizing crawl. Emma's eyes locked with Liam's across the chaotic scene. He was standing dangerously close to the base of the towering tree, his face etched with a look of utter disbelief and stark terror. He instinctively reached out towards her, his hand outstretched as if to shield her, to protect her from the impending catastrophe. "Liam!" Emma screamed, her voice raw with primal fear, a desperate plea lost in the cacophony of the collapsing tree. But her desperate cry was swallowed whole by the deafening thunder of the falling tree. A thick cloud of dust and debris filled the air, obscuring everything from view, rendering the scene a chaotic, unrecognizable blur. The music abruptly stopped, silenced by the sheer force of the tragedy. The joyous laughter died in a chorus of screams. The celebratory atmosphere that had filled the meadow just moments before was replaced by a chilling, oppressive silence, broken only by the heartbroken sobs and terrified cries of the horrified guests. When the dust finally began to settle, revealing the devastating aftermath, a scene of utter desolation lay before Emma's disbelieving eyes. Tables were overturned, chairs were splintered into pieces, and the once pristine white tablecloth, meticulously chosen to symbolize their purity and new beginnings, was now stained with gruesome splotches of crimson. And there, amidst the tangled branches of the fallen oak, lay Liam, motionless and unnervingly still. Emma's knees buckled beneath her, betraying her. She stumbled towards him, her legs feeling heavy and unresponsive, as if weighted down by invisible chains of grief. "Liam," she cried out again, her voice a broken, choked whisper barely audible above the frantic murmurs of the stunned crowd. She desperately pushed aside the heavy, unforgiving branches, her hands trembling uncontrollably as she reached for him, her fingers brushing against the cold, lifeless bark. His face was ashen, devoid of all color, his eyes closed, their sparkling light extinguished forever. His hand, the one he had outstretched towards her in a final, desperate act of protection, lay limp and lifeless at his side. Emma cradled his head in her lap, her shaking fingers frantically searching for a pulse, a sign of life, any indication that this was not real, that this was all some horrific nightmare. But there was nothing, only the chilling absence of a heartbeat. The world around her spun violently, tilting precariously on its axis, threatening to throw her off into an abyss of madness. Her wedding day, the day that was supposed to be the pinnacle of her happiness, the day she had dreamt of since she was a little girl, had been twisted into a grotesque parody of her most cherished dreams, a cruel and unbearable nightmare from which she could not awaken. Her forever, her eternity of happiness, had been mercilessly stolen, snatched away in a single, devastating twist of fate. The incandescent love that had burned so brightly, illuminating their lives, the meticulously planned future they had so carefully constructed, had been extinguished in an instant, leaving only a gaping, black void of inconsolable grief and unimaginable despair. The days that followed the tragedy were a blurred, indistinguishable montage of shock, disbelief, and unbearable, soul-crushing pain. Emma moved through them like a ghostly apparition, disconnected from reality, numb to the world around her. The wedding venue, once a vibrant symbol of joy and celebration, was now a somber crime scene, cordoned off with stark yellow tape, a stark visual reminder of the horror that had unfolded there. The pungent scent of crushed flowers and splintered wood hung heavy in the air, a constant, suffocating reminder of the unimaginable tragedy that had shattered her life. The tear-stained faces of her friends and family swam before her eyes, etched with deep sorrow and profound concern. They tried to offer her comfort, to whisper empty words of solace, but their feeble attempts felt hollow and meaningless in the face of such profound, unfathomable loss. How could they possibly begin to comprehend the unfathomable depth of her pain, the gaping, bleeding wound that Liam's absence had ripped through the very essence of her soul? Liam's parents, utterly devastated by the loss of their only son, clung to Emma, their shared grief mirroring her own, a testament to the enduring bond that had united them. They had welcomed her into their loving family with open arms, treating her as their daughter, and now, united by their shared sorrow, they found a fragile, tenuous solace in each other's trembling embrace. The funeral was a surreal, dreamlike experience, a macabre theater of grief and loss. Emma sat rigidly in the front pew, her glazed eyes fixed on Liam's polished wooden coffin, her mind refusing to comprehend the impossible reality that the man she loved more than life itself, the man she had promised to spend the rest of her life with, lay inside, cold, lifeless, and forever silent. The priest's carefully chosen words echoed in her ears, a hollow blend of scripture and eulogy, but she couldn't process their meaning, the sounds washing over her like a meaningless drone. All she could hear, all she could feel, was the deafening, agonizing silence of Liam's absence, a silence that screamed louder than any words could ever express. After the agonizing funeral, Emma retreated into herself, constructing impenetrable emotional walls around her wounded soul, effectively shutting out the world and everyone in it. She spent her days locked in her bedroom, a self-imposed prison of grief, surrounded by countless photos of Liam, replaying cherished memories in her tormented mind, desperately clinging to the rapidly fading fragments of their shattered happiness. She couldn't bear to even glance at her exquisite wedding dress, once a symbol of radiant hope and a bright future, now a mocking reminder of a future that would never be. It hung forlornly in her closet, shrouded in darkness, a ghostly specter of a beautiful dream turned into a horrific, inescapable nightmare. Even sleep offered no respite, no escape from the relentless torment. Nightmares plagued her restless nights, vivid and unrelenting, each one a horrifying replay of the tragedy. She would relive the agonizing moment of the accident over and over again, trapped in an endless loop of terror, the sharp, ear-splitting crack of the tree splitting, Liam's terrified expression as he saw death hurtling towards him, the sickening, crushing thud as he fell, his life extinguished in an instant. She would wake up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding wildly in her chest, the image of his lifeless body seared indelibly into her mind, a haunting vision that would forever plague her waking hours. Weeks slowly bled into months. The initial shock and blinding rage began to gradually fade, replaced by a deep, gnawing ache of emptiness, a constant, suffocating weight that threatened to crush her completely. The vibrant colors of the world around her slowly began to return, but her world remained stubbornly muted, leached of all vibrancy and joy. She felt like a lone ship adrift at sea, lost and without a compass, tossed about by the relentless, unforgiving waves of grief, destined to be swallowed whole by the unforgiving ocean. Her devoted friends and family, desperate to save her from the brink of self-destruction, tried to pull her back from the edge of the abyss, urging her to seek professional help, to join a grief support group, to find some semblance of a way to move forward, to rebuild her shattered life. But Emma stubbornly resisted their well-meaning attempts. She didn't want to move forward, didn't want to leave Liam behind. She wanted to remain trapped in the past, clinging desperately to the fading memories of him, refusing to relinquish her grasp on the love that had been so cruelly and unjustly stolen from her. One fateful day, while listlessly sorting through Liam's personal belongings, Emma stumbled upon a dusty, forgotten box filled with his precious writing. She sank to the floor, her legs giving way beneath her, surrounded by a chaotic sea of stacks of well-worn notebooks, loose-leaf papers filled with scribbled notes, and half-finished manuscripts, each a testament to his creative genius. As she hesitantly began to read through his writing, she was instantly transported back to their countless late-night conversations. His voice filled with infectious passion as he shared his dreams of becoming a successful writer, his eyes shining with unwavering conviction. She remembered his boundless enthusiasm, his unwavering belief in the power of words to heal and connect, to inspire and transform. As she delved deeper into his writing, she discovered a poignant story he had been diligently working on. A captivating love story about a young couple who faced seemingly insurmountable obstacles but whose love ultimately triumphed, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The story was sadly unfinished, the last few chapters remaining unwritten, a cruel irony that mirrored her own unfinished love story. But as Emma read, her heart aching with a mixture of sorrow and longing, she felt a faint flicker of something long forgotten stirring within her, a tiny spark of hope that had been dormant for so long, threatening to be extinguished by the all-consuming darkness. She realized with startling clarity that Liam's legacy, his burning passion, his powerful words, didn't have to die with him, didn't have to be lost forever. She could keep his memory alive, she could share his stories with the world, ensuring that his voice continued to resonate for generations to come. It was a daunting and terrifying task, but it was a task that gave her a renewed sense of purpose, a reason to get out of bed each morning and face the agonizing day, a faint glimmer of light in the seemingly impenetrable darkness. Driven by this newfound sense of purpose, she enrolled in a creative writing class at the local community center, determined to hone her dormant skills, to learn the art of crafting a compelling story that would do justice to Liam's extraordinary talent, to honor his memory in the best way she knew how. She spent countless hours writing, pouring all her pent-up grief and unwavering love onto the blank page, transforming her agonizing pain into something beautiful and meaningful, channeling her sorrow into art. She also bravely joined a grief support group, overcoming her initial reluctance and realizing that she didn't have to face her overwhelming sorrow alone. Sharing her deeply personal story with others who had experienced similar losses, who understood the unique pain of losing a loved one, helped her to feel less isolated, less alone in her seemingly endless sea of grief, allowing her to connect with others who could offer genuine empathy and support. The support group also introduced her to a network of courageous widows and widowers who had found inspiring ways to honor their loved ones' memories through various forms of charitable work, transforming their tragedies into forces for good. Inspired by their resilience and their unwavering commitment to making a difference, Emma decided to establish a foundation in Liam's name, a foundation dedicated to supporting grieving families and providing much-needed resources for those struggling to navigate the complex and often overwhelming landscape of loss. The arduous process of setting up the foundation was undoubtedly challenging, requiring her to overcome bureaucratic hurdles and navigate unfamiliar legal territory, but it gave Emma a singular focus, a clear sense of direction, and a renewed determination to make a positive impact on the world. She poured all her remaining energy into fundraising, organizing charitable events, and connecting with other organizations that offered comprehensive grief support services, building a network of compassion and support. She found a fragile solace in helping others and turning her tragedy into a powerful force for good, honoring Liam's memory by bringing light and hope to those shrouded in darkness. As the months slowly passed, Emma began to heal, slowly and gradually, like a delicate flower pushing its way through cracked concrete. The sharp, jagged edges of her grief began to soften, the raw, visceral pain beginning to subside, replaced by a more manageable ache. She still missed Liam with every fiber of her being, the void he had left in her life still gaping and raw, but she had finally found a way to carry her grief with a newfound grace, to honor his memory while continuing to live her life, to find joy amidst the sorrow. One quiet evening, while meticulously sorting through Liam's remaining personal belongings, Emma discovered a hidden compartment cleverly concealed within his antique writing desk. With trembling hands, her heart pounding in her chest with a mixture of anticipation and dread, she carefully opened it. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, lay a small, exquisitely crafted silver locket. On one side, protected by a delicate layer of glass, was a miniature portrait of Liam, his eyes crinkling at the corners in that familiar, heart-melting smile that she had loved so dearly. On the other side, elegantly engraved in delicate script, was a simple, yet profound inscription, "Forever yours, Emma." Tears welled up in Emma's eyes, blurring her vision, as a tidal wave of emotions washed over her, threatening to drown her in a sea of grief. She had never seen the locket before, never known of its existence. It was a tangible reminder of Liam's enduring love, a precious symbol of the unbreakable bond that had connected their souls, a bond that even death itself could not sever. Clutching the locket tightly in her trembling hand, Emma sank onto the floor, her emotions overwhelming her, her carefully constructed defenses crumbling around her like sandcastles before an incoming tide. She had spent months painstakingly trying to come to terms with Liam's devastating death, trying to find some semblance of a way to move forward without him, to navigate the uncharted territory of grief. She had thrown herself into preserving his legacy, dedicating herself to helping others, and diligently working to keep his memory alive, fearing that if she stopped, she would lose him forever. But in doing so, she had inadvertently distanced herself from her grief, burying her pain deep inside, pushing it down into the recesses of her soul, afraid to confront the overwhelming darkness. The discovery of the locket, however, forced her to confront her long-suppressed emotions head-on, leaving her nowhere to hide. It brought back the raw, visceral pain of her immeasurable loss, the agonizing realization that Liam was truly and irrevocably gone, that their shared future had been cruelly and irrevocably stolen from them, leaving her stranded in a desolate present. But amidst the overwhelming pain, something else began to stir deep within her, something unexpected and profoundly powerful. A newfound sense of inner strength, a resilient spirit she hadn't known she possessed, began to emerge from the depths of her despair. The locket wasn't just a painful reminder of her devastating loss, it was also a potent symbol of Liam's unwavering, enduring love, a testament to the profound depth of their connection, a tangible piece of their shared history. It was a powerful reminder that even though he was physically gone from this earth, his love remained, a constant and unwavering presence in her heart, a beacon of hope in the darkest of nights. That night, Emma found herself unable to sleep, her mind racing, her emotions swirling like a tempestuous storm. She sat vigil by the window, clutching the precious locket in her hand, watching as the first rays of dawn slowly painted the sky with vibrant hues of orange and pink, a breathtaking spectacle of natural beauty. As she watched the sunrise, a profound sense of peace began to wash over her, a quiet acceptance of her grief, a gentle understanding that she couldn't fight the pain, but she could learn to live with it. She realized with crystal clarity that she didn't have to erase Liam from her life to move forward, that she didn't have to relinquish the love they had shared. She could carry his love with her, cherish his memory, and allow it to shape the person she became, honoring him by living a life filled with purpose and compassion. She began to view her grief not as an unbearable burden, but as a powerful testament to the extraordinary depth of their love, a tangible symbol of the profound connection they had shared. It was a painful reminder of what she had lost, but it was also a constant reminder of the incredible gift she had been given, the immeasurable gift of Liam's unconditional love, a love that transcended time and space. The next day, Emma bravely visited Liam's grave, her heart filled with a mixture of sadness and a newfound sense of peace. She gently placed the silver locket on the cold, granite headstone, a sacred symbol of their enduring connection, a promise that his memory would forever live on in her heart. She spoke to him in a soft, hushed voice, sharing her innermost thoughts and feelings, telling him all the things she would have told him if he were still alive, pouring out her heart to the man who had known her better than anyone else in the world. She told him about the foundation she had created in his name, about the meaningful work she was doing to honor his memory, about how she was striving to keep his spirit alive, touching the lives of others through her acts of kindness and compassion. As she spoke, she felt a profound sense of release, a lightness she hadn't experienced in months, as if a heavy weight had been lifted from her shoulders. She realized with startling clarity that she was not alone in her grief, that Liam's love, his spirit, was still with her, guiding her, supporting her, and encouraging her to live a life worthy of the love they had shared. Returning home, Emma felt a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to live her life to the fullest. She realized that moving forward didn't mean forgetting Liam, that it wasn't about erasing him from her memory. It meant honoring his precious memory by living her life with passion and authenticity, by pursuing her dreams with unwavering dedication, by helping others in need, and by embracing the profound and transformative love he had given her, allowing it to shape her into a better, more compassionate human being. She took out her exquisite wedding dress, the dress she hadn't been able to bear to look at since the tragic accident, the dress that had become a painful symbol of shattered dreams. She ran her trembling fingers over the delicate lace, remembering the overwhelming excitement she had felt when she first tried it on, the boundless dreams she had held in her heart for their future together. Tears streamed freely down her face, but this time, they weren't solely tears of despair and inconsolable grief. There were also tears of gratitude for the love she had been so fortunate to experience, tears of acceptance of her loss, and tears of renewed hope for the future. The dress was no longer a symbol of a shattered dream, it was a powerful symbol of a love that had been undeniably real, a love that had irrevocably transformed her life and made her a better person. Emma made the difficult decision to donate the beautiful dress to a local charity that provided wedding gowns to underprivileged brides who couldn't afford them, allowing them to experience the joy and magic of their special day. It was a small, selfless gesture, but it was a significant way for her to transform her devastating pain into something positive, to share the joy she had once felt with others who deserved to experience the magic of love. She also made the courageous decision to finish Liam's unfinished story, the captivating love story he had poured his heart and soul into writing, the story that had been so cruelly interrupted by his untimely death. It was a daunting and emotionally challenging task, but she knew in her heart that she had to do it, that it was her responsibility to bring his vision to life. It was a way for her to honor his memory, to share his remarkable talent with the world, and to keep his indomitable spirit alive, ensuring that his words would continue to inspire and uplift others for years to come. Finishing Liam's unfinished story proved to be far more challenging and emotionally demanding than Emma had initially anticipated. She struggled to authentically capture his unique voice, his distinctive writing style, his extraordinary ability to weave words together with such grace and precision. She would spend countless hours staring blankly at the empty page, feeling the crushing weight of his absence, the immense pressure to do his story justice, to honor his memory in the best way she knew how. She immersed herself completely in his previous writing, meticulously studying his style, his recurring themes, his intricately developed characters, seeking to understand the essence of his creative genius. She reread their cherished letters, listened to the old voicemails he had lovingly left her, talked to his closest friends and family, desperately trying to capture the very essence of who he was as both a gifted writer and as a deeply compassionate person. The arduous writing process proved to be an emotional roller coaster, a constant fluctuation between moments of profound connection and crushing despair. There were days when the words flowed effortlessly from her fingertips, when she felt intimately connected to Liam, as if he were sitting right beside her, guiding her hand, whispering inspiration into her ear. And then there were days when the words simply wouldn't come, when she felt overwhelmed by the immensity of her grief, by the daunting task she had so boldly set for herself, doubting her ability to do him justice. Despite the difficult days, she pushed through, fueled by her unwavering love for Liam, by her steadfast determination to honor his memory and bring his creative vision to life. She wrote late into the night, fueled by copious amounts of coffee and cherished memories, her fingers flying across the keyboard, pouring her heart and soul into the story. Slowly but surely, the story began to take shape, the characters began to come alive on the page, and the plot began to unfold with increasing complexity and intrigue. She painstakingly fleshed out the characters, adding depth and nuance to their intricate relationships, making them feel relatable and real. She carefully crafted intricate plot twists, building suspense and intrigue, keeping the reader captivated and engaged. And, most importantly, she infused the story with the same warmth, humor, and emotional depth that had always characterized Liam's writing, ensuring that his unique voice shone through every word. As she wrote, she felt an overwhelming sense of connection to Liam, as if he were sitting right beside her, offering words of encouragement, gently guiding her creative process, and reminding her of the power of their love. She imagined him smiling down at her from above, proud of her for persevering, for carrying on his legacy, for refusing to let his dreams fade away. Finally, after months of relentless hard work, countless sleepless nights, and unwavering dedication, the story was complete. Emma read through the final draft, her heart overflowing with a mixture of pride, sadness, and an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. It wasn't just a story, it was a testament to Liam's extraordinary talent, a heartfelt tribute to their enduring love, and a symbol of the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most insurmountable challenges. With a mix of trepidation and hope, she submitted the completed manuscript to a reputable literary agent, hoping against hope that it would find a publisher willing to bring Liam's story to the world. The agonizing waiting period that followed was almost unbearable. She found herself constantly checking her email, her heart pounding in her chest with each new notification, praying for some sign that her efforts had been worthwhile. Then, one day, the long-awaited email finally arrived. The literary agent had read the manuscript and loved the story. She was deeply moved by Liam's writing and captivated by the characters. She wanted to represent it and help Emma bring it to a wider audience. Emma's heart soared with joy. She had done it. She had successfully kept Liam's dream alive. The agent quickly secured a lucrative publishing deal with a well-respected publishing house. The book, pointedly titled The Unfinished Symphony, was officially released to widespread critical acclaim. Reviewers across the globe praised its lyrical prose, its authentic emotional depth, and its powerful message of hope and resilience in the face of overwhelming loss. The book quickly became a national bestseller, translated into dozens of languages, and even adapted into a critically acclaimed film that touched the hearts of millions. Emma was invited to speak at numerous prestigious book signings, literary festivals, and conferences, sharing Liam's inspiring story with audiences around the world, keeping his memory alive. The overwhelming success of the book was bittersweet, a mixture of elation and profound sadness. Emma desperately wished that Liam could have been there by her side to share in the momentous occasion, to witness firsthand the profound impact his words were having on the lives of countless people, to feel the warmth of the world's embrace. But she knew in her heart that he would have been incredibly proud of her, that he was watching over her, cheering her on from above. One poignant evening, while attending a crowded book signing, Emma met a young woman who had recently lost her husband in a tragic accident, a loss that mirrored her own. The woman, her voice trembling with raw emotion, bravely shared her story with Emma, her eyes filled with unspeakable pain. She thanked Emma profusely for writing the book, for giving her a glimmer of hope amid her despair, for reminding her that love transcends death, that even in the face of overwhelming loss, there is still beauty to be found in the world. As Emma listened intently to the woman's heartfelt story, she suddenly realized that the true climax of her journey wasn't the publication of the book, the widespread critical acclaim, or the significant financial success. It was the profound realization that Liam's story, their extraordinary love story, was helping countless others to heal from their grief, to find comfort in the face of loss, and to rediscover hope in the darkest of times. It was a truly transformative moment, a moment of profound clarity, a moment of catharsis that washed away years of pent-up pain. Emma finally understood that her grief, her years of agonizing pain, had not been in vain. It had been transformed into something beautiful, something meaningful, something that was making a tangible difference in the world, offering solace and inspiration to those who needed it most. She had finally found her true purpose in life, not in replacing Liam, which was an impossible task, but in honoring his precious memory, in carrying his unwavering love with her wherever she went, and in using her own painful experience to help others navigate their journeys of grief, transforming their tragedies into triumphs. In the wake of the overwhelming success of her book, Emma wholeheartedly dedicated herself to expanding the reach and impact of the Liam Walker Foundation, transforming it into a global force for good. She tirelessly expanded its reach, forming strategic partnerships with other organizations to provide crucial grief support services to underserved communities across the country and around the world. She meticulously organized workshops, facilitated support groups, and curated comprehensive online resources for grieving families, creating a safe and supportive space for people to share their deeply personal stories, to connect with others who understood their unique pain, and to find the healing and hope they desperately needed. Emma became a sought-after public speaker, courageously sharing her personal story of devastating loss and inspiring resilience at numerous prestigious conferences, events, and workshops. She spoke candidly about the unique challenges of navigating the complex landscape of grief, the critical importance of prioritizing self-care, and the extraordinary power of human connection to heal and uplift. She inspired countless people with her vulnerability, her unwavering honesty, and her steadfast belief in the remarkable ability of the human spirit to overcome even the most devastating adversity, reminding them that they were not alone in their struggles. She also continued to write with unwavering passion, publishing several more critically acclaimed books that fearlessly explored universal themes of enduring love, profound loss, and extraordinary resilience, offering solace and inspiration to readers around the world. Her powerful writing became a source of profound healing, not just for herself, but also for countless others who found solace and comfort in her heartfelt words. As the years gracefully passed, the sharp, jagged edges of Emma's grief gradually softened, the unbearable pain slowly transforming into a gentle ache of remembrance, a sweet sadness that served as a lasting testament to the extraordinary depth of the love she had shared with Liam. She learned to live with her grief, to carry it with a newfound grace, to integrate it seamlessly into the very fabric of her life, allowing it to shape her into a more compassionate and empathetic human being. She discovered a renewed joy in the simple pleasures of life, the breathtaking beauty of a sunrise painting the sky with vibrant colors, the comforting warmth of the sun on her skin, the infectious laughter of children playing carefree in the park, moments that she had once taken for granted. She learned to appreciate the preciousness of life, the importance of savoring each fleeting moment, and the unwavering power of love to heal and transform. She also found love again, unexpectedly and beautifully. It wasn't the same kind of fiery, all-consuming love she had shared with Liam, a love born of youthful passion and shared dreams, but it was a love that was equally deep, profound, and meaningful, a love built on mutual respect, unwavering trust, and a shared understanding of the complexities of life. Her new partner, David, was a kind, compassionate, and understanding soul who respected her past and cherished her present. He understood her ongoing grief, her enduring connection to Liam's memory, and the profound impact he had had on her life. He honored her past while wholeheartedly embracing their present and eagerly anticipating their future together, never once trying to erase Liam from her heart. He wholeheartedly supported her work with the Liam Walker Foundation, recognizing the profound importance of her mission to bring hope and healing to others. Together, they lovingly built a life filled with joy, laughter, shared adventures, and a mutual sense of purpose, creating a warm, welcoming home that was overflowing with cherished memories, both old and new, a sanctuary of love and compassion. 10 years after Liam's tragic death, Emma stood silently at his grave, a delicate bouquet of fragrant white roses gently resting in her hands. The sharp, excruciating pain of his loss had slowly faded with time, replaced by a gentle, bittersweet ache, a poignant reminder of the extraordinary love they had shared, a love that would forever remain etched in her heart. She gazed out over the expansive meadow, the very place where their dream wedding had been so cruelly transformed into an unimaginable nightmare, the place where her life had been irrevocably altered. The imposing oak tree that had caused so much devastation had long since been removed, replaced by a young, vibrant sapling, a powerful symbol of renewal, hope, and the enduring resilience of life. The tranquil meadow was no longer a place of sorrow and despair, but a sacred place of remembrance, a place where she could connect with Liam's enduring spirit, a place where she could peacefully celebrate the extraordinary love they had shared, a love that transcended time and space. She gently closed her eyes, feeling the comforting warmth of the sun on her face, the soothing touch of the gentle breeze whispering through the trees, carrying with it the echoes of laughter and shared dreams. She could almost hear